Hey guys, it's Ryan from ThatShowbiz.com again, taking a couple of minutes to explain a few things that have been asked me over the last couple of weeks. Obviously, I said in the last couple of videos that if you've got any questions, any thoughts, any suggestions, that I want to hear them. Got two emails from people who kind of new to the business, going to their first trade show, and the question they had was, what does Drayage mean? And for anyone that's been to trade shows more than a couple times, you know darn well what Drayage is. Drayage is probably the most controversial and most expensive part of the trade show process. Drayage refers to the process of moving your exhibit and your all of your gear, really, from the loading dock where it comes in to the booth itself, and then the process of moving it back to the loading dock so they can send it back to you. The reason it's so controversial is the pricing has gotten so really out of hand the last couple of years. It's honestly not unheard of. It's actually not even very rare to have it cost more to get your booth from the dock to your booth than it does to ship your exhibit across the country to begin with. When people talk about how trade shows are getting expensive, a lot of what people are talking about is drayage. There's a lot of reasons behind why drayage is so high. A lot of them come down to you have to use union help in the trade show halls, so obviously that makes it go up a little bit. But one of the other reasons is just they can charge that. A lot of companies that are brought in to handle all the services as the exhibitor, the official exhibitor service provider, they've got a lot of costs that they have to cover. A lot of overhead, and they have to be pretty competitive to get in there. In order for the show management of the hall to make them the official exhibit service provider, they really have to provide a very good rate to these companies. So then what happens is the discount that they've given then gets pushed back onto the exhibitor themselves. So if you go to a show and you are shipping 3 wooden crates across the country, let's say you're going from Cleveland to Orlando, for instance. 3 crates, each crate weighing maybe 500 pounds, just normal 8x4x4 type crates. Wouldn't be unheard of to pay maybe about $1,200 for a round trip on that. Could be a little bit more, could be a little bit less. And then once you're actually there, it's not unheard of to pay $2,000 to have your exhibit moved forward and back. So there's a lot of outcry from the community about that, and we were asked, what is drayage and why people are so upset. The bigger question, though, is what can you really do to help bring those costs down? The biggest thing, obviously, is try to keep the weight of your exhibits down. Most drayage is calculated per C weight, and a C weight is all you really need to know about a C weight is every 100 pounds equals 1 C weight. So if you've got a 1,000-pound exhibit coming through, then you've got 10 C weights there. So, and every C weight, depending on what hall you're in, I've seen halls that only charge like $50 per C weight, and I've seen halls that are charging upwards of $250, especially if it's on a weekend or a holiday. So the big thing you want to do to avoid paying that kind of stuff is, first of all, try to keep the contents of your exhibit as light as possible. A lot of fabric is good, a lot of lightweight materials like aluminum, the lighter aluminum, a lot of the lighter plastics. There are a lot of wood exhibits now that are using lighter woods, so definitely look into that. Also make sure that you try to find out if you can bring your exhibit stuff in on a weekday and not a weekend. Weekends will always cost more, and make it well known on your paperwork when you're filing it that you insist on having it pulled in on straight time as opposed to overtime. So, quick tip for the day, check it out, thatsshowbiz.com, www.thatsshowbiz.com. A lot more hints, a lot more tips. It's also where you go to bid out your trade show and your event work. You got a show coming up and you want to get the best prices and the best exhibitor companies bidding on it, thatsshowbiz.com. We'll catch you next time. Reach down here, hit subscribe. Catch you in a bit.